Prego, prego, accomodatevi. Non accalcatevi, c'è posto per tutti. Coraggio. Occupate anche le prime file, mi raccomando. Ok. Buongiorno, buongiorno a tutti. Benvenuti in questa nuova lezione di pronuncia inglese. Come sapete, il modulo di pronuncia fa parte del corso intensivo di inglese a cui avete così coraggiosamente deciso di prendere parte. Perciò eccoci qui. Vi consiglio caldamente di non prendere questa materia sotto gamba, in quanto farò parte io stessa della commissione di esame e non vorrei mai prendere in antipatia qualcuno di voi. Molto bene. Ok, perfetto. Anche gli ultimi ritardatari direi che stanno prendendo posto. Siete più di quanto avrei mai pensato. Complimenti per l'ottima scelta. Bene, in cosa consiste questo modulo di pronuncia? Esattamente in questo. Pronuncia rigorosamente British English. Non voglio pronuncia americana, non voglio slang. Se per caso decidete di cambiare idea, siete ancora in tempo di cambiare professore e quindi presentarvi alle lezioni di American English. Sappiate però che con me non sarà tollerato. Direi che non è necessario perdersi in chiacchiere. Lasciamo direttamente parlare l'esercizio. Di fatto, direi che per valutare il livello della classe iniziamo subito con una piccola esercitazione. Non temete, perché non riceverete voti sulla vostra performance di oggi, però io prenderò certamente nota del vostro livello per capire anche successivamente come tarare le lezioni e gli esercizi. Non preoccupatevi, perché il testo che abbiamo con noi oggi, che trovate anche sui vostri desk, come si chiamano, sui vostri banchi, non è un testo di senso compiuto, nel senso che non dovete necessariamente capire il senso di ciò che andrete a leggere, bensì si tratta di una serie di frasi messe una accanto all'altra per mettere alla prova il vostro livello di pronuncia. Procederemo in questo modo: leggerò dei piccoli paragrafi, dei piccoli pezzi, e uno alla volta, partendo esatto da te, mi direte il vostro nome e poi andrete a leggere a vostra volta. Spero che sia tutto abbastanza chiaro. Solo una piccola premessa: vi chiedo di perdonare il mio tono di voce. Come sapete, c'è stata la finale dei mondiali pochi giorni fa e diciamo che il mio entusiasmo ha preso il sopravvento, perciò temo di dover sussurrare e parlare in questo tono di voce così basso per perlomeno tutta questa settimana. Molto bene, direi che ho parlato anche troppo, possiamo iniziare. Dunque, pronouncing exercise. These are extracts from the weather forecast broadcast by an American broadcasting station. The minister, moreover, frequently protested against the project of decreasing exports, which he considered a contributory cause of the present unremunerative trade prospects. Ok, prego. Andiamo avanti. He attributed the increasing tendency to rely on reciprocal trade agreements to an inexplicable preference for conservative business methods. Okay. Poi, the canoe capsized on the canal. The convict was a disreputable character. He ably demonstrated the efficacy of medicinal herbs. He made it his business to remonstrate most emphatically against nepotism. These records are incomparably better than those recorded by our competitors, but unfortunately the prices are no longer competitive. Sì. A voce più alta, grazie. Ok. Dunque. Teetotalism constitutes an important factor in combating juvenile delinquency. The subject of the orator's discourse was the spiritual renaissance of the pre-Raphaelite movement. He had a deplorable repertoire of improper limericks. The torments he had been subjected to resulted in a mental breakdown and a complete physical collapse. Limericks. Ok, sì, segnatelo però. The torments he had been subjected to. L'ho già letta, chiedo scusa. Perfetto. The recruits were conscript soldiers. He suffered alternately from inferiority and superiority complexes. The communists were not represented on the committee. He tried to exploit his admirable patented invention most advantageously. Patented. The turnover in calendars was negligible. Leaflets were clandestinely distributed, which advocated the boycott of certain imported goods. Okay. He was unable to give an analysis of the relations between atoms and electrons. This rebuff is primarily due to his superfluous comments on her conduct. The proceeds of the bazaar were used mainly for charity purposes. It comforted him no end. It was really a comfort. Esquire is an American magazine for men. The entire convoy was destroyed. Every purchase was scrupulously registered by the auctioneer. The delinquent, now a convict in a state penitentiary, had been convicted of participation in several hold-ups in cafes and cafeterias. Sì, esatto. Tu. Mm-hmm. The new cylinder has various drawbacks. His defamatory remarks did irreparable damage. She followed the dictates of a conscience. The Allies were known as the Allied Nation. Do not confuse ally to allay and to ally. She never used makeup. A survey of modern literature is primarily an inventory of what has been written in the way of poetry, fiction, drama, and criticism since the turn of the century. Such conduct must be considered incorrect. The senator's decision was irrevocable. Irrevocable. Prego. No, parti dall'inizio. Ok. Abbiamo un bel po' di lavoro da fare, direi. Ma andiamo avanti. Police could not ascertain the origin of the counterfeit money. The Senate and the House of Representatives of the U.S. Congress both moved that the money be used for scientific research. He was deeply injured by the insult, although the allegations were ridiculous. Many Japanese live outside Japan. Avete colto? Japanese, Japan. Okay. The abscess was caused by the sting of an insect. He thought it impolitic and in the long run disadvantageous as well as most dangerous. They produced steel alloys for locomotives. The machinist was on the dole. Yes, he lived on unemployment benefit. He must be completely insane. He considered an indirect approach preferable. The invalid's monetary claims after he had been invalided out of the army were considered invalid. Ripeto, the invalid's monetary claims after he had been invalided out of the army were considered invalid. I swear by God, the Almighty and Omniscient. Prego. seconder seconded the motion, which was carried unanimously. After a preliminary reconnaissance, he found the prospects for prospecting prodigious. The holes in the concrete road were cemented over with Portland cement. The actress had a hangover, so the close-ups were manifestly a complete washout. When she was offered a massage by a masseur, she refused and insisted on being massaged by a masseuse. Okay, sì. Masseur, yeah. Sì. Ok. She lamented her fate until everybody was fed up with her interminable laments. We cannot guarantee that the registered letter will reach him unless it is addressed correctly. Every cloud has a silver lining. I'm sure he will consent and permit it. But remember that the permit can only be issued with his consent. He outlined the scheme in its outlines. Abbiamo quasi terminato. Dunque siamo arrivati qui. The overthrow of the government overthrew all his plans. A peroxide blonde appeared before the tribunal in a most frightful taffeta. The philatelist had a pet alligator, and he clandestinely kept the reptile in the bathroom. Taffeta. Esatto. They traversed the desert in a caravan. His wife deserted him because he always complained of the desert. Ripetiamo. They traversed the desert in a caravan. His wife deserted him because he always complained of the desert. Deserto, abbandonare e dessert. Esattamente. The Judicial Committee of the Privy Council ruled that the wife of the mayor should take precedence of the wife of the president, and thus created a president. Okay. Sì, perfetto. The talented poet's fame was everlasting. His reminiscences were written in the most polished English. To the real estate agent's great disappointment, it was premised in the communiqué that the premises were not for sale. I am sick and tired of his everlasting complaints about the inhuman treatment to which he was submitted to in the lunatic asylum. L'ultima frase. His job in the depot consisted in drawing up inventories. Ripetiamo quest'ultimo pezzo. The talented poet's fame was everlasting. His reminiscences were written in the most polished English. To the real estate agent's great disappointment, it was premised in the communique that the premises were not for sale. I am sick and tired of his everlasting complaints about the inhuman treatment to which he was submitted to in the lunatic asylum. His job in the depot consisted in drawing up inventories. Ottimo. D'accordo, direi che non c'è male. Dobbiamo sicuramente lavorare su alcune questioni, alcuni di voi più di altri, però non temete perché entro la fine del corso sarete più che pronti per sostenere l'esame. Ho sentito qualche americanata qua e là, mi raccomando, esercitatevi sulle vostre T's, ok? Non voglio dei like water, voglio water. Esattamente. Or didn't. Ok, ci siamo capiti molto bene. Direi che vi lascio andare, tenete il testo, esercitatevi perché nei primi 10 minuti della prossima lezione lo farò leggere per intero ad alcuni di voi. Ottimo. Per qualsiasi cosa avete il mio indirizzo email, altrimenti ci vediamo